Say it.
Back, more fire. Gotta do it back.
All right, y'all. We want to welcome you guys back to the Guys Unpacked.
It's been a couple weeks.
Been a couple weeks. We took a little hiatus because obviously life happens.
Yep.
We are still rocking with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So do not think we abandoned y'all. We are still here. We want to thank you guys. I saw a couple text messages asking when the new episodes are coming. That's it. We back.
That's right.
It's not a rerun.
Right. This is a fresh episode. Make sure you like and subscribe. Click the link to get the notifications every time we have new episodes. Tell a friend to check us out. The Guys Unpacked podcast, and follow us on all social media.
Yep.
And we got the homie back
That's why I said it's not a rerun, man. You
Right.
know, they're probably like, oh, this episode again.
I mean, it's only fitting that we had you back, though.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate that.
Some of you may know, may not know by now.
We jumping out. June
Back.
13th.
We back. Myself, Mo Fire, Dre, we decided, you know what? It's time. So June 13th, we got a day party going down in the DC area. It's called the Renaissance Day Party. The tickets are available right now at therenaissancedc.com. Also on fetfinders.com, tickets.fetfinders.com. Check us out. Get your early bird tickets now because this weekend, once all the details drop,
Price goes up.
price is going up. So
And just keep in mind, I know a lot of people have been concerned about everything. We're gonna be outside, so
Right.
it's gonna be a scene.
right, it's gonna be we putting in the work right now to make sure we bring you guys something worth coming out to. So make sure you follow us on all social media platforms and get ready. June 13th, it's a Sunday day party in DC area, Renaissance DC.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. This is probably like the least surprising thing that ever happened because...
That we throwing a party?
Yeah, like us throwing a party because like I was like, I had text messages and phone calls like, dude, we were just waiting to see when y'all were going to throw a
Would
party.
you say least surprising though?
Least surprising. Like,
In this climate?
I would say least surprising too because like even when I dropped it was like about time.
Okay,
Like,
that's what I was saying. That's what I was
people just
told.
waiting.
Because you got to think about it like this too. Like, you know, while we have not been throwing parties, people have been throwing parties, and then you look at like Florida and Atlanta, like them places.
Well, there was never COVID there.
Right. So now you got to think
And
about
New
it.
York.
And New York.
And New York. Sure.
Although New York, they did for a time have to kind of like
A
do
week.
when I say even now they still
Cuomo was serious.
right.
Like,
And
once
De
they
Blasio
spiked.
too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they still got to do the ticket release like.
Sure.
Venue, they still can't post venues a lot in
Right,
New York.
right,
Florida is like, we here at this spot.
Right.
Wide open. And like
And the governor's there with them.
right. Wide open. So
The
they
governor was the one putting on the wristbands.
right. He was at a couple of the parties. So they wide open. So you know when people so you're right. I would say it's maybe not the least surprising, but a lot of people was like, it was a matter of time. Like
It was.
I mean, I even got a couple of messages like, we needed this.
Yeah,
It made my heart smile a little bit when I get those kind of messages.
the crazy thing is they haven't even seen it yet. Like
At all. They don't know how.
hold that thought, dog.
Okay.
Thank you, for y'all that went out and bought tickets.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate that support because y'all bought tickets on a level of faith that we're gonna bring you guys a quality event, and we promise to do everything we can to deliver on that because we gave y'all nothing.
Right. Except for a date.
We gave y'all a date. That's it.
And a flyer.
But that's what I'm saying. The flyer only gives them a date, and y'all trust us with y'all entertainment, and trust me, that love is seen and appreciated. So, but don't worry.
You're excited.
Right.
Thing popping off.
Right.
Yo.
More hear that and blow it up. Pause. Mark. Swordfish. So definitely got to say we appreciate you guys for rocking with us and showing us that kind of. Putting that kind of trust in us, we will deliver. We gonna bring y'all
the love that we got from a save the date flyer, man.
Yeah.
Like it really made me reflect on why we do this.
Sure.
And the love that and the passion that we have for events because. The reason why I say events on our part because it's so much hard work. People don't realize how much hard work we actually put in behind the scenes and the coordinations and stuff, man.
It is hard work to throw a quality event.
Yes.
I will say that.
Right.
Like, it's easy to throw something. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
You can book a venue and just say, "Hey, show up here, get 2 DJs and play music," and that's a party. But it's a little bit more work to put together, to curate and put together a quality event. So,
and I think like anything else in life, right? One of the reasons why our events individually and definitely going to be collectively really work is because we also don't do it for the money.
No.
I mean, money's important. We don't want everyone to lose money, but
right.
like the driving force is not, I'm trying to go make a payment on my rent or on my car, right? It's like, I want to put together an event. So if that means that I don't make as much because I want to add this piece right here, that's what happens. And I think that people appreciate that. And that's part of the reason why.
And that's why, you know, neither of us just endorse anything, right? We don't just put our names on anything. Sure. I mean, we just, I'm speaking about myself. I'm very particular who I lend my likeness to and my image to, right?
Right.
Because I have to believe in your brand and product for me to do that, you know? So
which by the way, I might have to also say, I loved how many people were posting the party as well.
Oh man.
Like without us even asking. Like we didn't put out a call to action and say please post.
Right.
Nope.
Like people just jumped out and were sharing to the point where my sister hit me and was like, is this person a part of the party? I was like, nah, yo. Like,
but that was just
it's just love.
It's just the love, yeah.
What the craziest part of it is to me, the folks that buy tickets and then post it, because you know sometimes you see people do it because they're looking for free things.
Sure.
When somebody buys a ticket and then they're like, yo, oh, you come to this, I'm gonna be here.
Yeah.
That's a next level kind of support, because you're supporting me one way and then saying, yo, I'm gonna bring people, because at the end of the day, we've all been kind of eager to get out, just to get back into something.
But we're cautious.
Right.
Yeah. So
of course, you know, the number one question that I've been asked, and I'm sure you gentlemen have been asked that same question as well. So since you're always asking questions, I'm gonna ask you all a question.
Okay.
Okay.
Why now?
You want to start or you want me to start?
I can start. Excuse me. I know for me, my whole the majority of my hesitation with even throwing parties was because I was not trying to throw parties in a pandemic. Right. And I know we've even talked about this. I've had like a running rule in my mind, like if I can't post my venue, that means it's too early. If I have to navigate around the rules in place to do it, that means it's still too early.
So pause a second.
Right.
That means the venue is going to be posted very soon.
We
haven't shared it yet, but it'll be shared this weekend.
Venue information is coming this weekend.
It's definitely coming.
I don't make it clear.
I like that.
Right.
Because the venue hasn't been shared yet.
It hasn't been shared yet. Right.
I actually forgot that.
Right. So to that, like the big part of my point with that was like, take like Florida, Georgia out of the equation, right? Because places like that were following a certain narrative that the virus isn't that serious. When you look at how Larry Hogan, Muriel Bowser, the leadership in this area has kind of taken the virus seriously.
Yep.
I was confident that if they're saying, hey, we're getting to this point, that means that what they're looking at and their scientists and their professional people have determined the metrics are at a place where we feel comfortable to allow you all to do certain things. And so because that metric had been achieved, I felt comfortable to say, you know what? This is a good time for me to get involved in something. Yeah. So that was why now for me. Like once the numbers had started to be achieved, I was like, all right, this is a perfect time for me. Because it's not that I didn't miss it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that I enjoy throwing events. I enjoy being a part. I enjoy being a part of people's enjoyment. Like, so it's not even about, like, to your point, you said it's not even about the money. It's like to be at the event and watch people partying.
And know that you were part of the reason why this is even happening.
Like, to get them texts and calls the next day, like, you're rich.
Dan.
Yes. Son, when is the next one? You know what I'm saying? Like, that feeling is dope. If it's an ego thing or whatever, like, I enjoy putting together something and watching people enjoy it.
Yeah. So I'll add. So I think that was more secondary for me. The primary was a lot of the people in my circle, the people who I know would come out to an event that I put together, were getting vaccinated, and all of us started feeling a little bit more comfortable doing more things outside.
Right.
So I was like, all right, as y'all know, like, what if we just do something small?
Yep.
So like, full disclosure, the first idea was something super duper small.
Yep.
And then as, like Rich said, more information started coming out from leadership in, in the municipal places. I was like, well, let's consider more.
Right.
So that said, I still think that we have to be very prudent about not going overboard.
Yeah.
As great as it sounds that everything is starting to open back up, I don't want to just jump out like there was still not a pandemic going on.
Yeah.
I think we're going toward like over the hump of it, which is good. But
we're trending in the right direction.
Right. We don't want to contribute to something where we're going to start backsliding. So all that said, I'm excited, bro.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Right.
I think the reason for me was, kind of just to piggyback on what both of y'all said, I'm a firm believer of, because the pandemic was new. None of us has ever been through like a pandemic or anything like that. There was so much that I didn't know personally. I needed to educate myself, and I wasn't comfortable. And if I wouldn't put myself, that's why I never promoted anyone's parties. There was no knock against anyone who through an event, during,
You're just not encouraging behavior.
I just don't want to be responsible because I know I wasn't going to be there.
Right. And I think with that point, and keep your thought process, but you understand that you have a platform.
Yes.
That like when you say something, if you endorse something, even if only 5 people say, all right, I'm going to do that, then that's connected to you at that point in time. So I get it.
So I definitely wanted to wait, and it's not like the conversation and the itch wasn't there, right? We've tons and tons and tons and tons of conversations.
Started out with the idea of just a cookout.
It started before that. Like, I remember it started really when the pandemic first hit, navigating the transition out of partying. Can we still do this? Can we still do that? To where we were just like, nah, we just can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? But there was a lot of conversation in the very beginning of just, well, what can we do?
Right.
Can we do, like, we had little things,
but brainstorming like crazy.
But at the end of the day, we were just like, you know what? It's better
not worth it.
Right.
It's just not worth it.
Yeah. Let's just wait it out. And shout out to, so there was a lot of people, because it's not just us, there are other entities and individuals that we've all been in contact with that we know are all slowly but surely making their way back into the scene.
Sure.
And just shout out to them for taking the stance that they did. It's not a knock on anybody who didn't, but
knock at all.
It takes a lot of maturity and a lot of personal responsibility to say, you know what? It's not about the money, but it's like, it's not safe to do this right now.
Yeah.
And me doing this right now is going to possibly contribute. And when I say right now, meaning when it all started.
Sure.
No control over it.
We just don't have enough information.
Yeah, there was not enough information at all.
And with the way it was spreading, it was like, you know what? We'll wait. And even and then when we got the information, it was like, no, we're definitely gonna wait. Like,
it's funny because it reminds me of like we would do these like lunch and learns at work, right? So consulting space, we do like a whole bunch of analytics, and we had one exercise where the room is a whole bunch of people, so consultants, analysts, partners, all that stuff, and the presenter starts with giving us a certain amount of information and then says, answer this question, right? And it just shows the difference in the way people think, which is it humbles me to understand this, right? All the super analytical people were able to look very, very quickly and be like, there's not enough information for me to make a decision and like to stop.
Right.
Everyone else is like, well, and it started making assumptions. It's like,
because and that's honestly a lot of time what people will do,
right?
Especially when you have people who are viewing something with a thought already in their head.
Right. And that's what it is. It's a thought in their head that starts
so if I already have a notion that I want it to be this and you present me with information,
right,
I'm gonna make that information fit the narrative I already wanted to fit and be like, you know what?
Justified now.
Right.
That's it.
Right. And meanwhile, if I just say, okay, clear mind and read it, like, yeah, there's not enough information here for me to formulate a decision. So that absolutely makes sense. What else? Really quickly, before we move on, guys, if you would like to,
I don't know what he's about to say.
Right. I just thought, because we went off on a tangent getting to talk about.
I saw the gears.
The wheels turned
real quick, but I was like, guys, if you would like to sponsor an episode of the Guys Unpacked, right?
The Guys Next Door?
Bruh, I don't know where that came from.
Who is that? Who is that? Promote yourself, brother.
I know, right? Yo, we're not even cutting that. We're not even cutting that.
I don't know who the Guys Next Door are, but it's not us.
What is it?
Definitely not us.
What is
I want to know. You got to go next door, you know.
Right.
Yo, Mark.
Take 2 on this.
Swordfish.
Take 2. Yo, if you would like to sponsor an episode of the Guys Unpacked podcast, feel free to hit us up in the DMs. If you're a promoter, you got an event, a product, anything you want us to add, promote on our show, you get commercial space on our show. We will let people know about your product, your event, your ad, whatever it is that you got going on. So hit us up for rates and full details about getting any kind of sponsorship done on the podcast. While we're on the subject, this Sunday, if you're in the DMV area, Island Boys Catering, you know who normally bring the food through here?
Cabbage!
They're having a grab and go this Sunday. So if you follow Island Boys Catering, it's Island Boys on Instagram with a Z.
Whole bunch of Z's.
Right. Here it is right here.
Right there.
Follow Island Boys Catering on Instagram. You'll get all the details for the grab and go this Sunday. This weekend is oxtail, jerk chicken, brown stew croquer, and a veggie something. So, and I don't do the veggie thing too much. So
no cabbage.
You have cabbage. Well, actually, yeah.
Cabbage.
And all the entrees come with yellow rice and avocado salad. So hit us up. Again, Island Boys. Follow them. Get all the details. The grab and go this Sunday.
The food is amazing.
The food, yeah.
I mean, like I haven't tasted one thing.
Not once.
That like I haven't like to the point where the last one he made, and full disclosure, we get food almost every episode.
Except when Mo's here.
Except when Mo's here.
Right, Mo's been the bad.
Third time, 0 food.
Right.
If y'all keeping score, by the way.
But like the last one we had,
yeah.
I was looking and I was like, I don't really know if I want to eat this, man.
The curry fish?
The curry fish.
Sorry.
And I was like,
how could you not like curry fish?
He didn't know.
So what it is like I don't like bonefish.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like the whole fish, bro.
Right. So he cooked a curry fish.
Yeah, okay.
And but so like Dre leaves to go, like you went to the phone or something. Dre come in like, well, the men are real quiet in here, boss. There you go, Cupid.
Yo, I'm in the donut. No, I went and had some.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I get
it.
I get it.
He was like, have bone? Like, yeah, have bone. He's like, all right. But then still, like, 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
Yes, and food was real good. So
next time you're on the show, we promise to get you some food.
Like I'm begging, son.
Promise.
But yo.
Everything all right over there?
Yeah, just silence on my phone real quick. My bad.
Oh.
Yeah, I forgot again.
Forgot again.
It's gonna stay on there. Don't
worry. All right, y'all. So, question for you guys, since I'm gonna go back to asking questions now. Now that we have jumped back on, we decided why. What are some of the things that you guys are most looking forward to that events are starting to open back up? I take hours out of the equation. Maybe not specifically the event, but just some of the things about going to events that you guys are actually looking forward to.
I'm gonna let our guests answer first.
You know what? The last event that I went to a couple weeks ago for your birthday, I didn't realize that I would have missed people that much.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
bro, we're not supposed to be in like isolation.
Yeah,
especially not for this long.
Especially like, West Indian people are just naturally,
right,
inviting and warm people, right?
Yeah.
I felt like I wanted to hug everyone. That's how I really felt. But I have to keep saying,
you have to keep, you fight the urge.
Even people who I didn't really talk to that much was coming up to be like, yo, good to see you again, man. Like, it was so,
Honestly, folks, I think are just happy to see people.
Yes.
And we often take life in itself for granted.
Yeah.
And realize like, yo, a lot of people didn't make it through this. Correct. So when you see people that you just haven't seen in a while, and maybe you didn't know what they went through, whatever, just to see them be like, yo, you out, you looking good, blah, blah, blah. That's it. Like, it don't matter what we may have not really talked before, but I'm just glad to see you out here looking
happy,
right.
and that was me.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's real. For me, I think it's kind of twofold. So there's like the DJ aspect of it, and then there's like just the patient aspect. So as a DJ, I'm looking forward to being able to just be creative again.
Yeah.
Right? Like like it's so different playing music in my basement. It's cool.
Yeah,
I enjoy it, but like there's a difference when there's a crowd and I can actually manipulate the way that the crowd moves as a result to like what's going on in my head, right? So there's that part. And I think like from a patron standpoint, I'm just looking forward to quality events again. And I think that it becomes a little difficult because you just don't know what events are going to be quality and which ones are not. But but it's the idea of being able to go somewhere, and so I'm a super critical person in general. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I tend to just like pay attention to all the details. I can't wait to go to an event and be able to be like, yo, so when I walked in, this is what this experience was. And then when I went to the bar, this is what this experience was. And when the DJ played, like, I want all of that. And I've missed it because I haven't been out in over a year.
I'm a music snob, right? It's like, when I first walk in, especially when the DJs and stuff are playing, I like to listen. I guess it's because I've been around it so long, you know, doing events and stuff. And I was about to say, most of my friends are DJs, right? They fine-tune me how to listen to music. So now I can appreciate music how it's supposed to sound, rather than for it just being what it is, you know? So I'm looking forward to listening to the craft, and DJs, y'all been home, not doing nothing. So if y'all come and things skipping, I vex. You understand? All they had was time. No jackass this scene.
Let me tell you.
No jackass scene. No jackass
son. Please. Good point. Look, honestly, though, I didn't think about it. That's a good point. They had time.
Nothing but time.
And it's like with anything, right? You work at getting better at something. I'm not a DJ.
Sure.
Right?
I got something to say as soon as you finish.
Right. You work again, but if you took but in this pandemic, you ain't. Now I'm sure that practice versus playing live is going to be a different. So like to what you were saying, it's like. But what I mean is like the feeling, the energy, the crowd or whatever. It's different from you playing in your basement, playing for yourself, because you're just playing for your own ears.
Right.
True. So, but and I hate to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
But I'm gonna cut you off anyway. So I think that the pandemic has been and will be, I think, a magnifying glass on what I will call DJs versus people who play music.
Okay.
Right? Very similar to like promoters versus people who throw parties.
Photographers versus people who take pictures.
Exactly. Right? Because here's the thing.
I'm sorry.
To your point, we really have had a year, right? But if, as a DJ, all you care about is hype, right? Then when there's no hype, how do you hone your craft?
How do you get yourself up? Right.
If you are a DJ that literally just loves the craft, you'll be in your basement or your studio, whatever it is, literally just playing music because you enjoy it. So like to the point where there've been nights where I just go in the basement and I'm like, I just want to fuck around and see what this sounds like. Cause I actually remember before adulting started, right? There were points where I remember one in particular. I'm chilling with a chick, and we lying. We're laying down.
Yeah. Okay.
Laying down, pillow talk.
Right.
An idea pops in my head.
You jump out the bed.
I was like, hold on. Ran downstairs. Yeah. And for about an hour, just messing around with the idea that was in my head, right? Yeah. I'm not that in music anymore. I just got too much other stuff going on.
Did it work out the way how you?
Of course.
Okay, cool.
But it took again about an hour for me to figure it out because conceptually things happen, but then when you start to apply, it's like, oh, I can't do that quickly, or it sounds good this way, but it's not going to sound good on a system.
Right.
But yeah, as much as I'm not doing that on a daily basis, I'm still down there just messing around with things. I'm like, just wait. Because y'all already know, like, I'm not this. I don't go on every single party. I don't want to be on every party. I'm very selective on purpose. And I'm looking forward to being selective on these events and being like, all right, so when y'all thought the underdog was gone.
Actually, you know what? This is my first party that hasn't actually accepted to be on.
Come on, man.
Rich, this is the first party Hazard has actually accepted that I'm a part of.
Well, man, technically, you didn't hire me.
I know, but it's just so funny. This is what I had to do to get him on a flyer that I'm on.
Hazard is one of the DJs.
Yeah, you know. Listen,
first of all,
this is what I had to do to get Hazard on a flyer with me.
You had to throw the party with him.
The same thing I told them is, I will have my laptop, but that does not mean I'm going to play.
Oh, you playing? I gotta hear you play, bro.
I honestly, okay, so I mean, I'll likely play, but you know, I think
don't disappoint the listeners.
You're silly. I think the beauty behind what we're doing though is that like we're literally curating something where it's gonna be dope, whether I'm a part of it or not, right? We're not gonna share the rest of the DJs, but like the rest of them can hold it down.
Oh yeah.
Like And I think like for me, when I remove ego, I don't have to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
To do it because we got some heavy hitters.
No, yeah, we do. And let me tell you the main thing that why I'm so excited, and I hate to keep harping back on our event Renaissance. It happened so naturally and organically. It wasn't forced, right?
At all.
We weren't like talking about events together.
Right.
It just so happened it just
made sense.
It made so much sense, and it happened so organically that's why I feel like, I think that's why I'm so excited for it.
And I think the irony behind that, which is really dope too, for me at least, is that we've known each other for a while.
Right.
We've all thrown parties separately for a while. And we've never considered like, let's throw a party together.
Yep.
But you know what too? I think that is similar to even the birth of the podcast, right?
Sure.
I think the pandemic
mm-hmm.
has forced a lot of different creative minds to just have a lot of conversations because to be honest, we're all so busy doing so many other things anyway.
Right.
And then we have our events that our brands are attached to.
Yeah.
Right.
So by the time you get done throwing one event and now you're back to work and now you're doing this and then this other thing. And so you don't get time to sit around with other people a lot of time and be like, yo,
groupthink. Let's just
Yeah.
So I think the pandemic also created a lot of space for individuals to collaborate, put their heads together and actually come up with something worth doing, like worth putting your name on, worth saying, you know what, this is something that I am fully behind being attached to because I know the level of quality that went into creating this.
I think this is going to be a litmus test for I mean, aside from, of course, this event being dope, I think it's going to be a litmus test for even us deciding to do things together because ultimately, when we can collectively bring resources together, capital together, like we can do bigger things than each of us individually.
And not just us. Like I think it's just
there's so many opportunities.
Right. So many other people. Was talking to Sean, CEO of Fet Finders, and we were even talking about just collaborating because, listen, we have the tickets on fetfinders.com, and because that is a locally grown ticket agency.
Available now, right?
Available now. Tickets are available right now. Fet Finders early bird tickets. Get them now.
Just checking.
Right, and that's a locally grown ticketing hub. So rather than go to someone outside of the community, you know what I'm saying? Use the guy that is locally grown. Right. We know him, Caribbean owned, and and black. It fits all the metrics for something for a place. And I would want to.
And even better, he is also like specifically focusing on supporting Caribbean initiatives. With like the fees that come out of paying for tickets. Right. So like, whereas these outside platforms don't really care about us. Like it's no knock on at all.
It's a business, right?
Right. Like they're doing what they do, and that is the platform that was available. Right. Now we have one that we can support in our community, right, and can also support our community. To me, it's a win-win.
It's definitely a win-win.
So quick sidebar, remind me, and this is gonna happen off here. Remind me to tell you all the story of how DJ Majestic and Black Spider ruined my young aspiring DJ career, right? So that's a story.
Why don't we just
no, that's for after.
Why would you absolutely not?
Like now we want to hear it. Now we want to hear the story.
You brought it up on air.
No. We're not continuing until you go. So let's hear how you was a shit tone.
Quickly.
Because it sounds like you was a shit tone.
No, I mean I was real tired. So when we were doing Maximum Overdrive, right? You remember it was me, Assassin HD. Yeah, that's how long it was, right? It was me, Majestic, Assassin HD, DJ Ghost, right? And we used to bring in guest DJs once a week.
Sure.
And that week was...
You never hired anybody with.
Black Spider, right?
Okay.
You like how he like my fashion? He's like, you never played for my party. Right. You never hired me.
So I know, so if it's one thing I appreciate about Black Spider is his conscious music, right?
Sure.
Very versatile when it comes to conscious and stuff. So I was like, all right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go home and practice only conscious music because I love conscious music. Anybody that knows me, bruh. So they left me like 30 minutes. They was like, this is your time.
Drop it.
Drop on and cut it. We live, man, and I'm doing my thing and I'm thinking I'm doing well, man, and when I was done and I just turned around and I looked at those guys' faces, man. They looked at me with such disgust.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. They tore me apart for the rest of the evening with just insults and critiques and like, oh, that was the worst mix. You mix with a dull cut glass and you're chopping. Listen, I was just like, you know what?
It's like, you know, I'm
gonna hang my turntables.
Yeah, I'm gonna just stick with what I know. I'm gonna just leave the DJs to the professionals.
There's some DJs in the game that need that lesson.
Oh my! Listen,
there's some people in the business right now.
I will say that, like, interesting enough. So like, Black Spider, Quasi.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not family, we're family.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he was at my crib throughout high school. Right. So we spent every weekend together. He grew up in Baltimore. Well, after Trinidad, he grew up in Baltimore, but like he would spend a lot of weekends by me.
Right.
So we DJ'd together from early. And I was never in the conscious. Right. All that aside though, he has been by far, outside of me, my like biggest critic.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's to the point where whenever I'm feeling myself,
he'll
I literally send him the mix,
mm-hmm.
and I'm like, tell me what you think, because I'll be like, oh, this mix is fire, son. And there's always something that he'll point out, and I'm like, nigga, really?
Right.
Like really, like that?
Right.
But I will tell you though that his critiques.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you just hung up your turntables one time.
Yeah, I was like,
well, whatever. Obviously, whatever they tell him, it wasn't like. Fix this or this.
It's so funny that even like just like when I was talking to Machi last week and I brought up, I said, you know, I would have been on this party if it wasn't for you, right? He had to laugh because he know what they did, man.
Yeah.
You know,
but like, might have saved you though.
Yeah, they saved me from myself. I mean, I could appreciate it.
But his critiques have honestly helped strengthen me as a DJ, and I think that, you know, like not to go too far down this rabbit hole, but every DJ or everyone who's a creative in any way needs someone like that in their corner.
Absolutely.
Who can like be honest.
Yeah.
Who is not water it down and be like, look, I see more potential in you.
Yes.
Therefore, I'm going to point these things out because I want you to be better.
Like there's a difference between constructive criticism and just being a Debbie Downer, like a naysayer.
Right.
So like I can say to you like, hey, this is good. Mm-hmm. But I did notice X, Y, and Z, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's like when you do something like at work, like with the people I supervise, like if I have to, and I don't do it just to do it, it's like if I know I'm going to offer a critique, if there is something positive attached to it, I will point that out. Now,
lead with that.
Right, I will lead. Right, I will lead with that. Now, if there, see,
well, I got no positive
because that was your shit.
Right, but that was it, son. Your situation, them niggas. The positive was they told you leave this alone.
They were like, we don't want you to embarrass yourself.
Right, right. That was
positive. Just left it as that. I would have been like,
that was the positive. No, because you know what? No. They knew
you would have been like, I'll be all right.
Right. So they had to make sure, like, no, we leave no doubt.
Dude, I just stood there and just,
no, they
eyes was all glassy and I was just like, you know what?
No.
I'll take it.
You know what it was?
No, I'm just kidding.
They carpet bombed them and then they sent troops in just to make sure nobody on the ground.
Yeah.
They come to check buddies after to be like, that man's still moving.
Yo, there was no survivors, man. If they even saw a twitch, they finished it off,
but on the real though, like that is one of the reasons why like our small crew are solid, strong DJs, because I don't care if you're Nemesis, if you're Black Spider, if you're Maji, if you're Sprung. It don't matter who you are, because we all know that at the end of the day we're elevating each other.
Right.
We gonna tell Leo like, yo, that makes us shit.
But you know what? And you're supposed to be able to have that kind of relationship. Because I've had, you know, even if I'm doing something without Rich or White Boy or somebody like that, I would still call him and be like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What you think? You know, or I'm thinking about what do you know? Yeah. And he would do the same thing. Hey, I'm thinking about doing this for Prestige. What do you think? You know?
And you know what the thing with that too is? You also had to remember too, a lot of the stuff is still subjective.
Yeah.
So,
of course.
Someone may say, I didn't like this. But that doesn't mean
be their opinion.
Right. That doesn't mean you change it. So you take everything with a grain of salt and you take the information. You have to be open-minded enough to be able to look at something and say, nah, I'm sticking with it, or you know what, that makes sense.
Right.
Not every critique do you need to change.
Yeah. Right.
But you should still
consider it.
Right. Consider it, because it may be something that when
it might uncover a blind spot.
Right. You try it there, we're like, oh shit, that was thanks. I didn't even peep that. You know what I'm saying?
We're not gonna go into it, but we even had that in our conversation where I had an idea and I was like, yo, this makes sense. And y'all were like, nope. I was like, but it makes sense.
Like, only to you, bro.
But what it ended up coming down to is like, it's theoretically it makes sense.
Yeah.
But applying it doesn't.
No, even simple, even with the flyer design. Like, so I designed the flyer for Renaissance. If you need flyers, hit me up. So,
boom!
Right. I sent it to you guys one way, and it was like
it didn't end up that way.
Right, 2 or 3, but it wasn't like a whole.
Right, it wasn't a whole.
It was like
change. It was just like
change this, change this, and like some stuff I was like, I'm not changing. Others like, no, I can. And then at the end of the day, we landed on something that everybody was like, boom, this is the one. We good with this. So that's the type of collaborative effort that will breed better products moving forward.
Right.
As long as we can continue to maintain that level of open communication. I think that's part of the problem that Trini people don't have when Keith Rowley talk.
Oh my goodness.
Son. And I know that was probably the roughest segue in the history of segues, but
you landed
but the problem is like, so with what's going on in Trinidad, right?
Right.
Every time the prime minister is getting ready to do a speech, I will go to the comment section, right?
Oh. Pure comedy.
But here go the thing with it, son.
It's the best.
It's comedy, right?
It's so good.
But it's people coming in there with a mind already, like the mind on lock, like I don't care. What about this?
It's so good though because the comments be random. It'd be like, Irene, you're not gonna get my husband this week.
Like, no. What? That shit is comedy. That shit is definitely. That's just the shit I'm talking about is when like, so prime example, like the one of the doctors, I can't remember what her position is, but she was explaining here. We have but so many beds in the hospital. Yes, we may have 10 beds, but remember, a bed is not a bed.
Sure.
And she went on to explain what she meant by that. People in the comments, a bed is not a bed? What kind of nonsense is that? Since when is a bed not a bed? Right? So you already came in there with the negative mindset. Like, and she explained, like, right, I have a bed, but I don't have staff. Right. I don't have equipment. Right. I don't have, so I can just put you on the bed. I have none of the things to turn that into a hospital bed.
Or this bed is in this department, and that's not actually going to fit
whatever it is.
Whatever
it is. Yes, you could say we have 10 beds. That does not mean we have 10
ventilators, and stuff like equipment and stuff like that. Yeah.
People just when they come into it with their mindset to already make jokes or not take the thing seriously, and the bad part of that is when you look at the numbers. Like if you actually listen to what they're saying and you don't pay attention to the comments, the situation is way more dire than I think the people in the comments are grasping.
But I mean, okay, so let's be real here, right? So first I'm gonna say this shit bothers me more than anything because I haven't seen my mom in over a year and a half now, right? And I'm likely not gonna see her for about 2 years now. But that aside, if you look at our culture, right? We literally have the it will be all right kind of mindset.
We usually do that.
No, always. Dog. Okay, so let's go back to at least our lifetime. When the coup happened in the 90s, right? Yeah. And there was a state of emergency and there were curfews. What do? We decided to have curfew fit. Yeah. So it was like, you had to be inside by 10 o'clock and you can't leave till 6. Right? Like the idea, and granted, I think the ingenuity is amazing.
Right.
But it's like at the cost of what? Like, we don't take shit seriously, bro.
We don't. And I think that's why we're in the situation
that's exactly right.
But you know what the bad part of it was, dog? In the beginning, we were being praised.
Oxford was like, Trinidad is like the best country
we handled it.
Dog. But
I know
COVID fatigue though, right? Like that and illegal immigration and all the other little things. And I think really what made it worse was when we opened up prematurely, like Easter weekend.
Yeah.
And everyone, and like, I think it's like, if that was the case anywhere else in the world, it probably would have worked out. But we literally have a liming culture. Yeah. So immediately, it's not like people say, okay, well, now we can just go out and walk. No, it's like, we throw our big brown over here.
Trinis are very social creatures, right? We always want to let you go. Yeah.
Do too much.
Do too much, man. And we want to do it together. Like,
always.
Meet up, you know.
And then a small lime turned to a big lime real quick. And
it lasts for hours.
And the line lasts longer than
How many times have you said, okay, I'm only going to invite like 5 or 10 people to my house, and you end up with like 20?
Right.
And how many times have you said, I'll leave in this line in the next 5 minutes,
and then you don't leave
for the next 5 hours?
Like, exactly.
Right. So we're a very social people.
Yes.
So, and that was part of the problem between, like you said, the COVID fatigue and just our nature. Mm-hmm. And Easter weekend, and that was another one of the things that people kept.
It's a celebratory weekend,
like and people kept. But there was a thing. People kept bringing that up, right? And it goes back to this mindset of, don't come into this to assign blame. If you listen to what he's saying,
sure.
What he's saying is, the numbers are headed in a dangerous direction. They're not there yet, but in reality, we are higher than we were at our last highest peak.
Right. Yeah.
Now, we are now there,
right,
and we're still climbing. We need to do certain things.
Chill.
Right.
That's just fucking chill, son.
When you talk to people, they're still not doing, and we could take the vaccination part out of it, right? They're just still not doing the simple things.
Sure.
Like, look, you don't want to get vaccinated, fine, but at least stay home.
Mm-hmm. Right. At least mask up.
Mask up and stay home. Like, you don't want to, I'm not telling you to take the vaccine. I'm saying if you're not going to take, cool. At least take the other precautions. Right?
It is your right to choose whether to take the vaccine or not.
Right.
But at the same time, you can't be that loud person who doesn't want to take the vaccine and then don't want to follow protocol.
Who has a problem for every solution.
That is my issue. Even here.
Yes.
You can be, nobody is saying you have to take the vaccine, but at least if you're not going to take it, take the other precautions to don't add to the spread.
Right.
Because you're adding to the spread and you're not doing the thing that science is telling you would assist with the cause. And if you have your trepidations about it, cool. But okay, either you believe COVID is real or not. Because if you believe it's real, then you have to accept that I need to make certain changes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't just live the way I want to live.
So, I mean, but we unfortunately live in a society where instant gratification is like part of the fabric.
Yeah.
So even if I believe that COVID is real, I still believe, I will always still justify that what I'm doing is fine and what you're doing is wrong.
Right.
I will still look at it from the standpoint of, well, you know, I don't got to do all those things, but like once I'm doing these things, like people don't really trust science unless it actually supports what their mindset is.
Correct. So I was about to say, that's what it is.
And I mean, like at the end of the day, like,
because you know the crazy thing, not to cut you off, but you can give someone all the information, right? And tell them all the places to find it.
Sure.
And they'll be like, yo, I don't trust the news. Yo, I don't trust this. Or, I don't trust that. But a nigga go scream on YouTube and they'll be like, see what this nigga screaming on YouTube said? Is like
the
echo chambers.
Like the chiropractor who has 3 women that work. You heard that story? Mm-hmm. So he said he has 3 women that work in his office, and he said that he's not going to allow anyone who took the vaccine to come to his office for practice, whatever, because they're saying that
I heard that story. It makes them infertile. Yeah,
it makes women infertile. Like, so if you had the vaccine,
that if you were right,
you stand next to someone
that you're emitting some shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's like the 5G shit.
But whatever it is,
it's like it's in addition to it. Like,
but yeah, it's like by fucking osmosis, dog. It's like so you don't even have to be vaccinated. If I'm around you and I'm vaccinated, I'm gonna affect you somehow.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I'm like the router.
Yeah,
right.
Like and he's like the extender.
Right.
So
they're not seeing patients. And this one place,
I hope they fucking close.
No, that's it. There's one place, I think I can't remember if it's a preschool or whatever in some super religious county.
Sure.
They are not
Florida.
They're not accepting if their employees are vaccinated, they will not have them back.
So that one I'll give a kind of a pass on.
No,
hold on, kind of.
If they are vaccinated,
hear me out.
Okay,
I gotta hear this.
Yeah, I gotta hear this.
Yeah, listen to the context.
Yeah, okay.
The one, I really can't get down with the chiropractor because if you're a chiropractor, that means that literally your degree is backed in science, right? So at this point, you're deciding that science doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah. At least with early childhood development, these people they are literally in a place where they don't know what's right or wrong.
Okay, so you're giving them the excuse of ignorance.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Okay. But as a chiropractor, dog.
But
really, if I come, I might without bullying your girl.
Yeah. That's what
I might still make her. Come on,
like you're just gonna walk in a room and everybody's room's just gonna start going crazy.
Just call me the type, the tube tire.
Here's What's that? Even with the early childhood education, dog.
Oh, I agree.
When you make that decision, here's my thing. Somebody above you who has a higher level degree has to have signed off on it.
Yeah.
It's not because it's not like the teachers are making. It's like some administrator.
How many times have we seen things happen?
No, I agree.
Where people,
but that's why I don't give them a pass.
H&M with the little black boy,
right? But you know, but you know what?
That went through like a multiple stages.
Absolutely, that was racial insensitivity.
But this
right?
This is just stupidity.
Right?
Everybody's tripping.
Right, but I'm saying you're telling me like at the highest level somebody would, but
fucking do it.
Absolutely. And to your point, the same way the chiropractor had to go through and get a higher level degree to be there, you had to get a higher level to be the administrator because it's not like a teacher did it. If to be the administrator of a school,
it don't take that much, dog.
It takes at least a master's.
I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It does not take at least a master's. I have met and even if that was it, which is not it right now. There are some people who have post-grad degrees who still fucking stripping.
Right.
So,
no, absolutely. Absolutely no.
But that's not backed in science though. That's my point.
Reminds you of a picture.
Right.
They really stripping. Plus, I met some administrators. I'm like, really?
Like, how did you get
son?
Really? And mind you, like, for me because I travel for work.
Yeah.
Whenever I have to go into school, it's because I'm home. So I'm not traveling at this point. So I look like a nigga. So I come in, tattoo showing, t-shirt, ting, 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 and I'm talking to him. I'm like, you real fucking do this, you know? But I have to sit there and I have to listen.
Right.
And I have to like evaluate how I'm gonna respond.
Yeah.
So all to say, people stripping, you know.
No.
They're ever fucking do this.
Look, no argument there.
Just making sure.
None.
Just making sure. Just making sure.
I just not giving them the pass. You giving them.
I got you. I mean, it was a small pass.
I get it.
They still getting fucking nudge on the pass.
Because they're not even letting their employees work. Like if you've been vaccinated, you can't come back to work. I'm like,
I feel like that's a discrimination lawsuit waiting to happen though.
Right. Oh, I mean, it made the news. I don't know. I didn't follow up to see what
think about it. Unless you were paying me to stay home, right?
And they might. I didn't get that far, but they might. Yeah.
You telling me that I can't work because I decided to be vaccinated?
Yeah.
And discrimination lawsuit.
Oh yeah, all day. Like in fact, I won't have to work anymore.
And that's the easiest. Like it's like, oh really, dog? You can make excuses for like almost anything else.
Let me tell you something. When you got every politician telling me to get vaccinated, and you school administrator said not to, I'd be like,
you're stripping.
Right? Like everybody from the top down. Like
this school is getting ready to be named after me. Okay.
Right. Son.
I need a gym.
Yeah. Something. I need a whole building and a wing. Like forever into perpetuity.
Boom.
So, son. But I mean, the situation in Trinidad is a little dire. Like to your point.
I just want to see my mother, yo.
Son. So
me too, man.
Like and the wild part is like full disclosure. Like I'm the type who I go to Trinidad all the time, and I don't usually make my mom a priority, right? Because I know that I'm gonna see her. So I'm like, I'll go, I'll party, thing, and I'll see her when I see her. Yeah. But this is the longest I've ever gone in my life without seeing my mother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of miss her.
You're like, mommy, you know,
like I kind of miss her.
Like you know what, you're kind of cool, you know.
And what makes it worse, I feel bad too because she moved back to Trinidad back in 2009. My grandfather was turning 90 and she wanted to like take care of him, whatever. Right. So he passed away in 2019. So she's by herself now.
Right.
Right. And she's one of the ones who are actually being precautious. So she's literally by herself.
Right.
And the only connection she usually has is our group chat, you know, with the family or we have like a Zoom call or whatever. And it's like, damn, at least I can do a podcast. I can go see my sister. I can do other things. Like she's literally just home.
Yeah, you know, I miss my mom too, man. Like, you know, usually
she's home too?
She's home. Okay. Usually I go home every 3 to 4 months to spend time with her. So I haven't seen her since the last carnival that I was there. Right? So like, yeah, I'm definitely in your corner as well. I'm waiting for the borders to open.
So as soon as that border opens, like the next day,
I'm out.
I'm there.
I'm out.
So not to trade sad stories.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all, we got some solidarity.
My mom is in New York.
He's like, my mom's in New York. I saw her last week.
But no. So no. I'm about to outside story. All right now.
Oh.
That's what I was like.
So now it's a competition.
Right. That's what I said. Not to trade sad stories, but like because when you mentioned what you mentioned.
Yeah.
So as you know, or you may have not. I think we talked about this.
Sure.
This year we had a big party plan because, knock on wood, my grandfather's supposed to be turning 100.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool.
He's in Trinidad.
Yeah, my grandfather turned 100.
Right.
Yeah.
My aunt was, when she went back for Carnival, she was there and she would not leave because they would not guarantee she could come back.
Gotcha.
So she chose to stay. Right. She retired from work already, so she chose to stay.
Sure. And
then they gave her an exemption to travel because she wanted to come back. She wanted to get out of Trinidad for a little bit. They gave her an exemption to travel. I think it was like Thanksgiving, so she came up to spend it with us, right?
So this is last year Thanksgiving.
This is 2020.
2020. Okay.
Came up and then they shut the borders back down, so they would not let her back in. So there's there is family there with him, but none of his children are there, right? And so they have been like back trying to get an exemption, trying to get whatever to have anybody go back to Trinidad and just stay there because they're like, look.
I mean, he's 99.
And here was the thing. They said, like, I was supposed to be able to. The only reason I left is because y'all told me I
gave me an exemption.
Right, otherwise, I would have just stayed.
Right.
Like, I didn't. I left to get a little bit of a break. So again, they're fighting the battle or whatever they're trying to do to get back. Because of course, we all want to go for his birthday, and so to your point, like if the borders open up, we're going. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, we go do what we have to do and go down. But it is just like, when you look at, I'm concerned for them because the way the numbers are rising in Trinidad, it's like you're concerned for your people back there. So
sure.
I just want Trini people to
do Jacassi fucking scene, dog.
Just listen, stay
chill
home.
Out, like we get it. Dog, everybody.
I'm gonna tell you this though, right? Like, so one, I feel you. I feel for you because my grandfather, he turned 100 in March of 2019, and then he passed away in like April. Like it was literally like he was like, I'm just waiting for y'all so that y'all can celebrate.
Right, and I'm
out. Like right after the party, he was like, I don't want to eat no more. Like, wait, what?
Right.
Anyway, for Trinidad, right? Like when you have the prime minister or the equivalent of the president.
Yeah, same thing.
Right?
Yeah, the head of state.
When this nigga says something like, don't jackass the scene, right?
Because when you
actually he said don't jackass the thing.
Don't jackass the thing.
But like when you have someone in that kind of power,
that's exasperation.
That moves to a vernacular that is below what typical station. Like heads of state,
right? To try to
relate to you, like yo,
and not just to relate to you, to show you his frustration,
dog. Like so I had actually seen a lot of the memes and shit before I actually heard him say it,
because I think he had said it before, didn't he?
Yeah, he said it before.
He said it before,
bruh. When I saw it, I was like, I don't know if to laugh or cry.
So listen, you know Dominic Calipasad, right? He's like the number one like anchor from in Trinidad.
Right.
When he's like the equivalent to me, like Alex Trebek, very, intelligent, smart, sharp. When he's on TV saying the same thing, cussing, saying don't jackass the thing.
Dog, they so tired.
They're tired of it.
Because nobody wants to fucking be at home.
Everybody's tired.
But the problem is, and this is actually something that like I think that we deal with, not as bad in the US, but like we deal with it as well. It's this idea that we're following all the rules, but everyone else who's not following the rules are doing things that are technically fucking up our chances of doing things.
Right.
It's like at that point, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. Why not just do it? But then we have too much of a conscience to just go out and just be reckless. So it's like we still.
You know what I didn't realize? I didn't realize how much Trinidadians ate fast food. Like, have you all been watching the memes and the videos? No, like
you didn't. No,
realize. I know we ate, but
you don't hear what it's this generation.
It's
this generation.
Dude.
No.
Nah, man. When you look at the memes and the videos and stuff where people...
Do you spend a lot of time in Trinidad when you go? Just spend time in Trinidad?
Average 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks.
But when you're there, are you spending time or are you just spending time with mom?
No, I'm spending time going on,
All right, so...
socializing around.
Everything is fast food, bro. Like, for starters, the highest grossing KFC in the world is Trinidad. Spain, so there's that, right? But aside from that, it's all the street food. Like everything is because we have this liming culture. We lime in. Hungry, I go and walk down the street and get a burger.
I get a gyro.
Okay, a gyro. Right? Like that is a part of our culture, dog.
No, but for them to be like selling out KFC, freezing chicken, and you understand, just so they can eat it later on and
or sell it.
Or sell it.
Yeah.
$5,000 a box.
I would do that. Hey, if the demand is there and I have a supply,
$5,000 for a 2-piece,
son. But I'm not doing it though. I'm not buying it.
But the problem is there are people that would.
Right.
Yes.
But though, because there are people who paid $1,000 for PS5.
Facts.
Knowing that Sony is making more.
Well, the irony though is, even though Sony hasn't been able to make any more, like, guess what? Everyone is still just fine with their PS4.
But that's what I'm saying, though.
Right,
but that's my point. Like, Sony is going to. It's not like Jay's, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they release a certain number,
only a certain amount.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sony is going to make more, and like to your point, all your friends are not gonna have a PS5 right now. So if you play in any kind of multiplayer game, because one man gonna cause everybody to have to play on the PS4. So you just buy this $500 system. You paid $1,000 for it.
Yeah.
And guess what? I can get it 3 months down the line
for $300,
for $300 or $400
right.
with a game probably.
Right.
Because Sony will make more and they will set them on sale because they're like, you know what? We need everyone to have these. So yeah. But and that's to your point with the whole KFC thing. Like, is people just I gotta have it now mentality sometimes. Yeah. It clouds better judgment and common sense thinking. So
Dog, I'm actually happy, surprisingly, that COVID has forced me to cook more. Because I used to be Uber Eats all day.
Yeah. And
when I say all day, like, and it was so bad that like 4 or 5 times a week I'm ordering either Chinese food or some other right? And it's like now, because I've been cooking so much, one, it's played a huge role in like losing weight, right? Yeah. I didn't realize how, like, I mean, I knew, but I didn't realize. Now, if I even open the app, I look at the delivery charge and I'm like,
that's what I'm about to say. That's what
I literally, I'm like, I'm turning to my mom, I'm like, you know how many groceries I can buy with this? Like, I don't
especially when it goes from, you start off $10.
Yeah.
And you click through, you ain't add nothing, you get to the end.
$20.
$18. Like,
how?
Plus, and that's without the tip.
Right, that's without the tip.
And then I feel shit. I'm like, I got a tip.
Right, so now you got $20-something, and it started at 10. I'm like,
a $10 meal.
Yeah. Nah, I was like, I good. I all the way good on that, son.
Horrible.
But Trini,
Doja Casi scene, please.
Don't.
Shit.
Stop it.
I want to see my mommy.
Right.
Shit.
I want to see my grandfather. Jesus. Back to people being dumb. I like how we hear, because Trinidad is not exclusive. I like how we created our own gas shortage.
So, all right, I'm gonna say this. So I understand how it occurred, right? Especially when you're talking about like southern states actually having an issue with getting gas, and it kind of trickling up. Virginia, still south, cool, right? And maybe I'm giving too much benefit of the doubt.
You're definitely giving too much benefit of the doubt, but go ahead.
But here is my line, though.
Right? Put a lot of thought into this one.
I have, but here's my line, though.
All right.
When you start trying to fill up like shit that's not like a container for fucking gas, like I was like, wait, what? Like, and I know some of them were clearly for the gram.
Clearly for the gram.
But when I saw a hamper,
right? Like that was for
the gram.
No one is the gram.
Right, but like. Okay.
I think some of them plastic bags were real.
So that's what I'm saying. Because even if they weren't real, the fact that you spent the money to fill up a fucking garbage bag, and it wasn't even like the black ones, like the heavy duty black. It was a clear one.
I saw a plastic bag that said Giants on it.
Son, the one chick had the garbage bags from like from the thing. So I think what happened was, and this is not me giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, you are.
No, not at all.
Join my team.
Not at all. Absolutely not. I'm saying I think what happened with those people was they probably tried to get gas cans, but they were all sold out. Because I'm sure people bought, and they, being stupid, was like, well, let me get 2 bags.
You're giving them way too much credit.
But I'm not giving them credit. I'm not saying it was smart. I'm saying I see how they got to plastic bags.
I don't.
I really don't.
Again, at that point, it's like, you know what? I'm just not going to drive. Like,
sir, no.
That's it.
Again, I agree. I'm not saying that they were smart or that it made sense. I'm just saying.
You understand.
I don't think they went there. I don't think they grabbed plastic bags from their house and went to the gas station.
No, they did.
I think they did.
You think they did?
I 100%
think because this one
Who the fuck has garbage bags in their fucking
This one Asian lady I saw, right?
Oh, no, they bought them at the store. They was like, do you have any gas cans?
No, man.
All right, well, let me get a...
No, there's no attendant in 7-Eleven or fucking Sunoco or BP or whatever is gonna be like, we got some garbage bags.
No, I don't think they suggested it.
No, they would be like, that is not what you should do.
The one lady that I saw.
Oh, you mean wait, hang on. The 17-year-old behind the register who probably don't know either? He's like, I don't know, try it.
Come on. Nah.
Nah, man.
That one lady I saw who filled the first bag up.
And then
when it started leaking, and she started double and triple bagging.
Because it was leaking. I was like,
right.
When I saw that one, I was like, if we are not the dumbest, most intelligent species on this fucking
we're
earth,
not built to last.
Right? Because I'm like, look, when you realize that what you started doing isn't working, and you decide that, you know what, I'm just going to double down and get another one.
Double and triple down on it.
Right.
And she wasn't even the dumbest person that did this whole thing. It's the one who, from Florida again, of course. Whose
car blew up?
Who filled up his Hummer.
So do we know if that was actually a part? Because I saw it, but I was like...
No, it was.
I think it made the news. Yeah,
it made the news.
Yeah. That's what it said. It made the news. That wasn't just a meme.
You know, I don't be believing shit.
I know, right? No, I'm with you. Because anybody could post something on social media, add a caption, and be... No.
Like, I legit saw, like, video of Armageddon, the movie Armageddon.
Right.
And like somebody tried to use it for like some
this
snowstorm. I was like, come on, man. Like,
this shit made the actual news, son. Okay. I was like, nah, bruh.
Because the first time I saw it, I
burnt a whole Hummer to the ground.
I thought it was bullshit until I saw it on the news.
I hope he's okay, but that's what he fucking gets. Like, I do believe that kind of stupidity deserves whatever the fuck.
You're just wasting your hopes.
But no, I agree with him. I believe, but here's why I don't give him any credit, right?
Okay.
So when the pipeline hack happened,
right,
and they announced it, the government officials told people, hey, we should be able to have it back up and running in time.
Sure.
That you don't have to hoard gas, right?
Right.
Just fill up as normal. Keep it moving. They actually had it fixed
with Friday.
Right. So had everyone just regular filled up.
Right.
And kept it, not trying to fill up and hoard it. Because remember, the first group of people was the ones who didn't go with fucking garbage bags and shit.
Yeah.
They filled up gas can after gas can. That's what I'm saying. They bought up all the gas canisters and containers and filled them up. And that's what actually created the shortage.
You want to know what pisses me off more than anything? So, to me, this would be a viable reason why the cost of my oil stock
went up.
Would go up.
But it didn't.
My oil stock didn't go up at all.
It didn't. Why?
Really? Because it didn't. Because no.
Because there was no shortage. Right. They got the gas line open and running again.
Now that said, I'm gonna take this personally here. Right. We got a nigga like Elon Musk go on fucking SNL and tongue in cheek talk shit about Dogecoin, and like it plummeted, and then guess what? Went right the fuck back up. It's
down today though.
It's down today, but I'll put it this way, right? And not to go too deep into this shit, but because it got to a point where it looked like it was going below what my average was. I was like, I don't lose any money. Right. I sold everything, right? I was like, all right, I'm gonna repurchase because it's gonna continue going down. Dog, the same fucking day, it goes up. So now I have to repurchase at the higher price. Yeah. And now I'm like, I'm technically losing money where if I just
if you had just left it in there.
Right.
So the other cryptocurrencies too took a dive too, man.
Everything took everything across the board took a dive, right? But to your point, like it shows it's why when in getting through the intelligent investor, right? It's why when you
read it?
Audiobook. I'm still audiobooking it, though. Yeah. I wouldn't even try to read that, dog. Audiobook.
What chapter are you on?
8 or 9, somewhere
around there. You still got like 11 chapters to go or something. I know. Like that.
I'm aware. Audiobooking it,
dude. You
Like I listened to it.
It's a good book, though.
Yeah, I listens to it on his way to New York and back.
Yes, absolutely.
Put it down until the next trip.
Right.
When he sees his mommy that we can't see.
Right. What he just said is what a 3-hour trip.
Yeah.
I'll put it on for like a 2 hour and a half, 2 hours.
That's like 3 chapters. Right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it's why it's like when you think about it, when you try, because the buying and selling of stocks now has become so easy.
Yeah.
The simplest tweet or post
everything changes.
Can cause stuff to fluctuate. So for us who are like, you know what, I'm not trying to find trends or ride the wave.
Right.
I'm just gonna invest in some companies that I feel confident in.
Sure.
and I can't look at it every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't
look at it every day.
Like, and I don't usually look at it every day. Yeah. The only thing I looked at every day was crypto because
the cryptos
so
have
volatile.
been so right, exactly.
But like, I still take a peek at my regular portfolio, and there was some days
it's getting beat
last week or the week before where
ass kicked, son.
Everything was hurting, and I was like, why is AMC the only
right.
stock that I'm making money on?
Right. Here's the crazy thing.
I never bought GameStop.
Right.
So.
But the thing with AMC though, when you think about it, they got out of and not to get too much into the finances, but just the reality is they got out of their potential bankruptcy situation.
Right.
They got propped up by the
and now Big Bird's
the Reddit people, right? And now
Big Bird's running the company.
What do you mean?
You don't remember the meme where Big Bird?
Oh,
was like,
I missed that one. What did
you
Big
see
Bird?
It was a meme.
It was like Big Bird, and then a whole bunch of people who like.
And it was like right, and it was like GameStop and AMC sitting up in the Fortune 500, looking mad out of place.
It made no sense.
But yeah, son, I think like because they weathered their potential bankruptcy, they got propped up by the Redditors, and people know that movies are coming back.
Oh yeah.
At some point, but Jesus,
it's already open.
It's not at some point.
No, I know, but like, I don't believe the movie experience is going to be what it was pre-COVID. No, I'm not saying it's not going to ever do that. What I'm saying is like, I don't think it's going to be at that point soon.
It will.
Yeah,
I think by next year it will.
I think before.
Dude, a year is a long time.
Dog, a year by next year is 6 months from now. We're in June. Almost in June.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is like the fact.
Hold it for 6 months, nigga.
No, I'm not selling it. Like I'm making money on it. Like, it doesn't make sense. But my point is like it doesn't compute. The math is not mathing.
It does, because here's why. Why would you sell it? You know it's not good.
I'm not selling.
Not you. But I'm saying, say you're an investor. You don't believe it's dipping because every time you look at it, it's chipping up, right?
Yeah.
So there's no point in me selling it now because it's only been kind of trending. Even when it trends downward, it's not even touching where I bought it at because niggas bought it at $2, right? So
notice he didn't tell us to buy it, though.
Right, but you know, like no, I bought I bought that shit at $2, son.
The reason why I wouldn't though is very similar to what you were talking about as far as not endorsing things.
Right.
It was one of those things where I was like, I don't mind losing money on this,
but I'm not going to tell somebody else.
Because also, unlike him, I actually read The Intelligent Investor, the entire thing. And I was like, this is actually not a sound investment at all. I was like, this is totally speculating. Right. But I was like, I don't mind losing because like $20 on it.
It's $2 a share.
Right.
That's the same reason I bought Nokia and BlackBerry. I was hoping that the Reddit users would have.
But here was the thing.
You probably bought too late,
right. But here was the thing, though, son. AMC.
Okay.
AMC was not a bad buy because when you started to see what the movie theaters were trying to do. Now, the only thing with AMC that was risky was because they were they had that bankruptcy looming, right?
Yeah.
Once they got out of the risk of that, and don't get me wrong, the Redditors threw the whole game off.
I'm waiting to hear what you got to say.
No, the Redditors threw the whole game off. Don't get me wrong, it shouldn't be where it is now.
At all.
It should not.
It makes no sense.
But when it got there, niggas are like, son, nobody's lost money on AMC yet, right? So if I haven't lost money and movie theaters are reopening, I'm not selling.
GameStop is still in the hundreds.
Still like 153. I don't understand that shit at all.
That still hurts my heart because Cam was like,
he wanted to buy right.
Oh, it doesn't make sense.
It makes
sense. What doesn't make sense is why. What doesn't make sense is why GameStop is still that high.
Redditors, if you guys are listening,
it's the same shit with AMC.
But GameStop ain't coming back though. What's the future of GameStop? At least AMC has a future. What's the future?
Even though movies are coming back, AMC is not actually coming back. Like movie theaters are not coming back the way that they were because it.
Bet money on that.
Hear me out.
I'm actually taking this bet.
Yeah, I might.
And we'll figure out a bet. But hear me out. Prior to COVID. Movie houses were losing money anyway, right? So they're losing money, and that's the reason why every single time you go, concessions are going up, and the price of them going to movies are going up, right? So when you fast forward to now, and you're talking about another 6 months before we get back to normal, that means that they can't go and sell a pizza in AMC for $40.
No,
they can't, right? No. So there's a gap in what they would have been making with concessions. So it's all those little pieces that I'm looking at. I'm like, and there's no way for it to actually make financial sense. But like you said, I'm not selling it. I'm gonna keep it.
Here's what I think. And AMC, if you're paying attention, here's what I think. Okay. What I've seen AMC start doing was they moved into the pseudo luxury experience that you would get from the iPix, right? They started to gut some of their theaters and add the reclining chairs, fewer seats, but they're charging more.
Right.
The experience you're getting is now you no longer have to line up early to get good seats. You get reserved seats.
Yep.
You sit in a nice reclining chair.
And I love it.
And I love it too. And you add to that the cabin fever of having not been able to. You're gonna get an influx. I believe.
I'm with it.
I believe you're gonna get an influx of people once they're allowed to.
Yeah.
And the main reason I say 6 months is because of the Warner Brothers deal that they have their movies airing on Disney Plus through 2021. You still have the option of staying home at the end of 2021, where you can't get those movies on not Disney Plus, on HBO Max anymore. So now you have to go to the theaters.
Right.
You add increased vaccine, like the party scene. So bring it
I'm
back to us, right?
I'm with it.
People who have not been going to parties have been going to trash because they just want to be out.
Because there's nothing else to do.
I get it. So that's why I don't know that AMC is going to make anybody rich. I just don't think it's ever going to dip. Like, what's it at now? Like 12?
I stopped paying attention.
Right. It's still not at much money, right?
I'm still making money off it. I was like, I'm going to just continue.
AMC's not going to be a Fortune 500 company. I just don't think it's going back down to $2 either. You know what I'm saying? I think if you bought it at $2,
it'll eventually get back there.
You think $2?
Eventually.
I don't think so.
Not yet, but eventually, because
I think if movie houses get phased out at some point
and that's my point.
I just want Reddit users to please buy BlackBerry.
he's like, I'm not selling any of my BlackBerry or Nokia
so I can make some money.
I need to get on this Reddit and we need to send BlackBerry to the moon somehow.
That's all I'm saying.
Send the I don't get why anybody would have bought BlackBerry in 20.
No. So you remember they were saying that, like, kind of like what happened with the GameStop thing.
I remember them saying it.
The Redditors were like, they were going to look at the BlackBerry and Nokia, right?
And so you tried to get ahead of it.
I was like, all right, let me try to jump on it before.
He might the chain up.
Yeah.
And, I'm feeling it.
It was like, yo, we doing BlackBerry. Nokia. He was like, hey, I'm going to dump $1,000 in these shit.
No, I ain't done that much.
And see, that was with me. I saw the Redditor shit, but I still applied some common sense to AMC. I was like, I believe movie houses are coming back. I looked at it once they got past the bankruptcy shit, I was like, I'll take a risk on AMC.
The GameStop is the part that caught me because I was like, there's no way.
Like, I didn't buy games. I'm still sitting here like.
That shit hurts my heart.
Yeah,
because literally 2 weeks prior, like, Cameron.
He wanted to.
Because it was his birthday, and I was like, I'm buying some stock for you. And he was like, GameStop. And I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Right. And they're still above $100-something. So I don't know how.
Because it was.
GameStop is valued higher than American Airlines.
Right? It, like, at that point when Cameron said GameStop, I think the stock was at about $18 a share.
I'm still mad I didn't buy Dogecoin on its entry level.
I mean, but nobody really bought. I mean, except for like the people who were like,
and a lot of them sold already,
right? Because they were like, this doesn't make sense. Yeah. Right.
So,
but anyway,
all right, y'all. So we wrapping this up soon.
Okay.
Shout out to the CDC for confusing everybody.
Dog, as a communicator, I was like, their messaging fucking sucks. All right, so I understand where they were coming from, and I think that it made.
I'm not mad at their message.
I am.
Okay.
But here's why.
Okay.
In a silo, their message makes sense, right?
Is that the same as in a vacuum?
Yes.
Okay. Because and the only reason I asked, because I was like, I've never heard it referred to as in a silo.
Right.
So I'm like, is this a?
It's like in a standalone.
Gotcha.
Right. It makes sense. But that silo or that vacuum is, I think, people like us who can look at the situation and interpret it from the standpoint, and like interpret it from the standpoint of, all right, they were being overly precautious. Now they're starting to come back a little bit because they realize everything.
Exactly.
Right. The problem is, for so long, everyone has been talking about mask up, which we all agree with anyway.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
And now, as the CDC came out with that information about people being vaccinated can remove masks at least in most places, except for all other municipalities say that you should have it on.
There's a lot of places they said you still got to keep it. It was you can remove your mask in all places except for most places.
Yeah.
And we understand that.
Right.
But the vast majority of people, especially the people who didn't have trust in them to begin with, look at it from the standpoint of, see, this is exactly the reason why I didn't do this shit anyway.
Right.
And then you have people who are jumping through all the fucking hoops to get like fake vaccination cards, where I'm like, yo, it's actually a lot easier to get vaccinated. Though.
But you know what? Just get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
Why steal like the fake cards and the cards and sell it on the black web? Just get vaccinated.
Black web, they send that shit like
regular dog on the corner, dog. Dog, you can call niggas up. You could probably Google that shit, son.
There are people working in pharmacies who are selling that kind of shit, bro. Like it's
crazy, dude.
It's so bad because the other part about it is this for me, right? Like the CDC says if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask, whatever, right?
Right. How
do we determine who's vaccinated, who's not vaccinated, without actually saying, "Let me see your vaccination card"?
Right. So
even that alone.
All right. Yeah. So
I don't walk with my vaccination card.
I don't either.
So
I don't even know where mine is.
So
I need to find that shit.
Okay, like I know where mine is.
I think I have an idea where
mine is. The bar in my house. Like,
right.
sitting there.
Bugging,
in a plastic case.
I need to find that shit, man.
So and to your point, I think people get caught up in these CDC recommend, because even my sister asked me, right? She was like, how do they know? I was like, well, honey, you have to remember, the CDC is not a law enforcement agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all they
make recommendations.
They're making a recommendation. Now it's on the people to decide. They're telling you, hey, if you know you're vaccinated, you may feel comfortable to not wear a mask around other people you know who are. Sure. If you know you are not vaccinated, I'm just letting you know, if you go without a mask, you might catch it.
You're at risk. Yeah. And
I think, so just to finish what I was saying, I think people get confused with, oh, well, they're telling us, no, they're not telling you to. They're saying, based on what we have seen.
This is more information.
Right. Now, your government, and because we're really providing this information, not so much to you, but to the government agency, so they can be guided to make their own decisions based on our recommend. So really, we shouldn't even be telling y'all this shit, to be completely honest with you. We really should just be emailing these niggas directly, like, hey, you can do this now, right?
Which I think is a perfect segue to the Renaissance. Quickly, right?
Like, I want to see how you Renaissance. I want to see how you segue this.
I was going to say this, right? Like, end of the day, doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not, right? I'm vaccinated. You're vaccinated. You're vaccinated. What we're still doing is trusting the government, who mandates whatever policies in the municipality that we're going to be in. So we're not telling you if it's going to be Maryland, D.C., Virginia.
D.C. Yeah, it's going to be. Because I already told a couple people. So there's people like,
D.C.
Like Rich says in D.C.
Right? It's like, I know I spoke to more.
Right.
But if Mario Bowser says that in these type of spaces, people need to still wear masks, then that's what we're going to be doing.
Dog, even take it a step further, people have to remember that all of these things still leave private entities to make decisions.
But that's my point.
So even if the government says, hey, you don't have to do this, but they leave it up to the entity, I as Giant, Safeway, anywhere can say,
Costco
can say, yo, if you're entering our establishment, you have to do this.
Follow these rules.
So when and this is what I think, like, patrons need to bear with the promoters who are doing their best to work within the rules that they've been given. We are not trying to buck the system. We're not trying to. So part of waiting for mandates from the government to allow us to do this means that we're going to follow their recommendations. Yeah. We're going to we want people to come out and enjoy themselves. I say personally, I am not the COVID police, right? I'm going to say, here are the rules to enjoy this event in a way that I believe can still allow you to be relatively safe.
Sure.
But nothing is perfect.
Correct.
Right? Because we all know people who have caught it who were basically staying home. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so there's no perfect shield against it, right? Yeah. There are breakthrough cases where vaccinated people are still coming up positive. So like there's still little nuances to it that even now we still don't know, but we know that, okay, if you take X number of precautions, you can mitigate it to this point, and that's really kind of going to be life moving forward anyway, right? About taking the precaution. And it's life now. Like, if you mitigate the flu, you mitigate catching the cold, you mitigate anything by doing certain things and hoping and, adjusting. But all that to say this, understand that we are going to comply with both the recommendations, the rules of the government, and the rules of whatever venue we're at. Sure. Because at the end of the day, the liability is not going to be on anyone to say, hey, yeah, we let you do X, Y, and Z, and then the venue's like, no, that's we did not say that at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're not accepting. We're gonna say, hey, we will enjoy ourselves, have a great time within the rules, and trust me, we're still gonna be able to fully enjoy ourselves.
Yeah,
sure. In a safe and environment as possible.
I gonna like myself.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm actually excited.
So, with that said, guys.
No, we're not done.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Dog. I'm sorry. I gotta bring it up.
Don't even.
I gotta bring it up. No, I don't care. I don't care.
What do we even care? You know what he's gonna do.
No, I don't. I missed it.
Israel, Palestine, bro.
Oh,
we don't gotta dig too deep. We gotta talk about this shit.
Okay, yeah, that is happening.
We gotta talk about this shit.
That
right?
is no.
because I truly believe. So there's a couple things that I have a issue with. But more than anything, it's the humanity piece of it, right? Like
absolutely.
Like the amount of people who are dying.
Yeah.
In this what they're calling conflict, which is not really a conflict, because when you're talking about one nation state having a military and the other just being citizens,
right?
It's not really a conflict at that point in time. It's like,
I mean, it is a.
It's bullies fucking with other people, like, and I'm not gonna jump on either side.
Right.
But what I will say is this, right? No matter what side you agree with. By the way, I right now believe that the Palestinians are getting fucked over. I'm not anti-Semitic, but I will say I'm just never going to be cool with anyone being taken advantage of in any capacity. The same way how I wouldn't be cool with black people being taken advantage of in this country, the LGBTQ community being taken advantage. Like, end of the day, when people are losing their lives, right? When people are being displaced because, dog, we're in 2021. Colonialism and imperialism should have died in the fucking 17th century, dog. Like, there's no reason, right? So, put it this way: when you got a dude like Bernie Sanders, who is clearly Jewish, right? Like religiously Jewish, because I think that's a big point too, right? Like religiously Jewish. Being called anti-Semitic because he stands up to say that what's going on is wrong, right?
It's cancel culture though with that too. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's
it is where you can't have an opinion,
right? And that's exactly why I said religiously Jewish, because anytime we talk about Palestine and Israel, we automatically look at Israel as the religion as opposed to the country.
Right. The individuals.
Right. And I think that's part of the problem too, right? Like, I mean, we can go all the way in every single direction. It's the same thing that happened in Rwanda. You have like the Tutsis and I can't remember what the other tribe is. End of the day, it's the same people just classifying themselves as one thing or the other.
Right.
Y'all look the exact same. Y'all are the same. But because one is technically in power and the other one's not, I'm tying to one. And I just, it's hard for me to be in 2021 in the midst of COVID in particular. People are dying from a disease that no one can control. But we out here killing motherfuckers because we feel like it. Like that shit, like it fucking breaks my heart, bro.
No, I mean, the whole situation is crazy. To just touch on two things that you said. One, it's this, we as a society label people the minute we don't agree with them, right?
Yep. Facts.
So like, it's why you have guys like Umar, where no, but like, listen,
no, I'm with you.
Like, if I just knew I was gonna hear that name before this day was up.
No, but it was like when I was watching him on the Breakfast Club, and it's like, because people may have seen, he's like, and then you have these coons who are thinking blah blah blah, and it's like, right. So because I looked at a situation objectively,
differently than you, like
I'm a coon. Like, so I could have done, no matter what I did in my life, didn't matter. I looked at this one situation and said, I can't fault this officer or whatever. Now I'm a coon. Same thing. So if you can look at Bernie Sanders and call him, you call him anti-Semitic, it's like, because I don't agree with you on this, because I have decided that I can think for myself.
Right.
I'm not just jumping on a narrative because you've told me to jump on a narrative. I can say, this situation is fucked up, this one isn't.
Right.
To piggyback on what you said with the cancel culture, man. I mean, it's just the irony in this entire situation with the Republican Party that's screaming, "Oh, the Democratic Party is all about cancel culture, right?" And then when people come out on opposed on the opposite side of what they have to say, they want to cancel. So like, Bernie Sanders and their own Liz Cheney.
So I'm about to say
Liz Cheney is taking the biggest L ever
because she won't support the Trump.
And how could you be more Republican than Liz Cheney? I mean, seriously, like her dad.
Listen, when I heard that, I was like, hang on.
She was born conservative, okay?
She was born conservative.
She was just, I mean, like, seriously.
But this is how you know, like, that party is like, honestly, that party is dying, right?
She went against her sister,
son,
who's a lesbian. She voted against her sister.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's
when
the
it
thing.
came to the
Son, that party as we have known it,
it's dead,
right?
It's dead.
Yeah.
That is just the Trump cult.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If you, because they said like 80% of voters, now they've sampled 1,000 people,
Mm-hmm.
are okay with her losing her leadership seat because she went against Trump. So not because of anything she has done, not because of any way she's voted,
because she didn't agree with
just because
Trump.
she did not agree with and support something that has been disproven.
Right.
So it shows like they're no longer thinking logically. They're just like, what do we do to support this person and prop him up and prop up his ego? So I don't even take them seriously as a political party anymore because they've proven that they're not anymore. They're really not. They are a cult following a false idol, and it is just whatever he says goes. Yeah. When we get to like Israel and Palestine, the big like, and we cannot dig too deep into the subject because there is just so much to it that is,
and it's so much history.
It's so much history in it. I just know that we need to, and I say like Black people, we need to stop trying to act like the U.S. is going to or can intervene and do anything with this, because if you look at it, let's take out the fact that Trump was the only president to like actually acknowledge Israel, right? But even outside of him, every president has taken the same stance, almost verbatim.
Which is we continue giving them money every single year.
But not just that. But no, that's not the stance.
That's what I see.
Right. But the stance they've taken is they're not going to intervene in what's going on. And that's
but see, that's the thing though, right? And I don't want to belabor this, but like you can say all day that you're not going to intervene, but when we have billions of dollars pumping into their economy, because you are intervening.
But you're not. And here's why I say you're not. No, here's why I say but you're not, because you're not intervening in the conflict. It's like,
but you're supporting them.
You're enabling.
You're
see what he has to say.
Right.
I want to hear his word.
That's what I'm saying. You are still maintaining whatever other relationship you've had with this
I get it.
Because
it's complicity at this point in time.
Right.
I get it.
And it's not, it goes beyond party, it goes beyond individual.
Right.
It's been Republican, Democrat, whoever is in power.
No, you're right.
Because at the end of the day, these are things that we have the privilege, like we talked about before, of not being in those positions, so we can say, this is wrong, you got to do this. Meanwhile, you get in that seat as a world leader and they're like, yeah, you can't touch this. This has nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like you're dealing with the UN. You're dealing with so much other shit where you're like...
No, you're right. The real stance would be like, we're not giving you any more funding because of what's going on. So I'm with you.
Right. You know, so...
it's some bullshit. But like, I just had to put that on out because...
I got you.
Because
it's been on your mind.
It has, because like...
You had a Kyrie moment.
He really did.
He did, son. He had a whole Kyrie.
It's just one of those things.
I don't care about basketball no more, dog. I just want to
talk about Israel.
It's just one of those things where like I can see what we go through as a people,
right?
And it's really hard for me to see the same type of things happening to other people and turn a blind eye to it.
Right. No, I completely agree with you. However, I would say this: what I would caution you for your own sanity. Yes, Israel and Palestine is in the forefront right now. It's just happening all over the world, though. Like, for sure. That's where the cameras are right now. But like, that's like if you look at like the Uyghurs in China, like you can literally go and go. There is some shit
something like this,
happening all over the world, and
the Sunnis and the Shiites,
right? And that's
Saudi
like
Arabia.
we
I
can.
get it.
So and then what we got here. Like, cops killing black people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And I'm that guy who is gonna feel it. Like, whichever one comes to my forefront,
wherever the wherever the cameras go that week. And
I think for this one, it's because like there's so much historical context,
and the level of historical context. It's one of those things where it's not gonna change in our lifetime
at all.
And not saying we should ignore it, but it's like I know this group, like the kids growing up now, feel like we can change the world, and yes, you can to some things, but there are some things that are so.
Honestly, I don't ever see it changing.
That's what there are some.
I mean, I'm not gonna be that.
One side is not gonna give up on the other side.
I'm not gonna be that pessimistic. So the only reason I say that is because I hear you, but like I remember when Obama won his first term, right? And I remember being excited about it, but also being like, I never thought it was gonna happen. And I had this very liberal white manager at the time, and she was super excited the next day. Yeah, and she was like, "Oh my god!" Da, da, da. And I was like, "I just never thought this was gonna happen." And she was like, "Why not?" And it was because I live in a world differently than she does.
Right.
Okay. And I'll say it from that standpoint. I think the world we live in doesn't really allow for us to believe that change is going to happen.
Agreed.
It's still possible. Yeah. I'm not saying that I think it's going to happen, but it's still possible. So I'm like, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I'm hopeful.
I agree with you.
I'm hopeful. So, anyway, like, let's end on a good note. Party, June 13th. Like, June, I mean, like, June 13th.
All right, y'all. After talking about genocide across the...
we go genocide your mother.
Genocide them tickets.
In the Renaissance.
All right, y'all. Like we said, thank you guys for tuning in this week to the Guys Unpacked podcast. Do not forget, June 13th, we are here in the D.C. area. Myself, Mo Fire, DJ Hazard. We are bringing you guys the Renaissance Day Party. Doors are opening at 3. Full information is being released this Friday.
Look out.
So if you have not gotten your tickets yet, organize yourself.
Get your crew, son.
Ticket prices are going to go up with the details. So I'm just letting you know. Like,
once the details drop.
If you trust us, buy your ticket now.
Organize.
It's not going to be so expensive that it's going to go up, but save you a couple of dollars.
Right. So sort yourself out. We are live right now at therenaissancedc.com.
Yep.
Tickets.fetfinders.com. So click the link, log on, get your tickets. And we will be back next week with another brand new episode. All kinds of good old talk like we just normally do. So just prepare yourself for the foolishness.
He's not going to be
here. I
ain't
going to be here.
But guess what? We getting some food.
I'll be here. Listen, I might be in the background eating some food.
He's probably not going to be. I can't even say for sure he's not going to, because he doesn't always just show up and all. So I can't even say for sure he's not going to be here. So
facts.
All right, y'all. But this has been the Guys Unpacked. Make sure you follow us on all social media. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Share the link. Let them know. And check us out on all of your podcast platforms. YouTube, Spotify, Anchor. Anywhere you check your podcasts out at Guys Unpacked. And
we out
next week.
If you enjoyed this, make sure you check out all our full episodes on YouTube and Guys Unpacked.
Also available anywhere you get your podcast, and follow us on all social media at Guys Unpacked.